Have you ever wondered why herpes is often called the gift that keeps on giving? It's a phrase that's thrown around quite often, yet the reality of this virus is far from a gift. With millions affected globally, herpes is a common yet highly stigmatized issue. The virus is persistent, often lying dormant before emerging again. The stigma and misunderstanding surrounding it only add to its complexity. In this video, we're about to unravel the mystery behind this persistent virus. Herpes, a common and highly infectious disease, is caused by two types of viruses. The first is herpes simplex virus type 1, or HSV1, often associated with oral herpes, which manifests as cold sores around the mouth. However, it's important to note that HSV1 can also cause genital herpes through oral genital contact. The second type is herpes simplex virus type 2, or HSV2, typically linked to genital herpes. This is usually sexually transmitted, but it can also infect the mouth during oral genital contact. Both types of viruses are highly contagious and can be spread even when no visible symptoms are present. These viruses, once inside the body, establish a lifelong presence, lying dormant in nerve cells and periodically reactivating to cause symptoms. This reactivation is what we commonly refer to as a herpes outbreak. Understanding these viruses is the first step to understanding how herpes spreads. The herpes virus spreads more easily than you might think. It's a crafty little invader that doesn't necessarily need an open sore to hitch a ride to its next host. In fact, it has several avenues to ensure its survival and propagation. One of its favorite modes of transport is direct contact. This can happen in many ways, but the most common is skin-to-skin contact with an infected area. Whether it's a kiss from someone with a cold sore or sexual contact with someone who has genital herpes, the virus seizes these opportunities to jump from one person to another. But direct contact with a herpes sore isn't the only way this virus travels. Saliva can also be a carrier, even when no sores are present. This is why sharing drinks or utensils with someone who has the virus can pose a risk. The virus can live in saliva, waiting patiently for the chance to infect a new host. Sexual contact is another common way herpes is spread. This includes not just intercourse, but any skin-to-skin contact with the genital area. It's important to note, however, that condoms and dental dams can reduce the risk, but they won't eliminate it entirely. Herpes can infect areas not covered by these barriers. And let's not forget about objects. While it's less common, the virus can survive for short periods on items like towels or toilet seats. So, if an infected person uses one of these objects and you use it shortly after, there's a chance you could contract the virus. What makes herpes particularly tricky, though, is its ability to spread even when no symptoms are present. This is known as asymptomatic shedding. The virus can shed from the skin without causing any sores, making it possible to infect others without even knowing it. With such ease of transmission, it's no wonder herpes is so widespread. It's a persistent and crafty virus that's always looking for new ways to ensure its survival. Once inside your body, the herpes virus embarks on a fascinating yet disturbing journey. This journey begins with the initial or primary infection. After entering through a small break in your skin, the virus hijacks your nerve cells, using them as a kind of viral Uber to reach the safety of your nerve ganglia, clusters of nerve cells near your spine. Here it hunkers down, setting up a permanent residence. The virus then enters a phase known as latency. This is a bit like the virus taking a long nap. During this period, it's not causing any symptoms, but it's still in your body, lurking in those nerve cells. It's important to understand that even while the virus is asleep, it can still be spread to others. You may not know it's there, but it is. Now here's where things get really interesting, and a bit scary. From time to time, the herpes virus decides to wake up from its nap. This is known as reactivation. When this happens, the virus travels back down the nerve to the skin, causing what we know as an outbreak. This could be a cold sore on your lip, a blister on your finger, or a painful lesion in your genital area. What triggers these reactivations? Well, it could be anything from stress to illness to sunlight to hormonal changes. And here's the kicker. You can't predict when this will happen. It's a bit like having a ticking time bomb in your body. Now, I wish I could tell you that once the outbreak is over, the virus packs its bags and leaves. But no, it simply returns to the nerve ganglia and goes back to sleep, ready to wake up and cause havoc another day. So herpes truly is a gift that keeps on giving. Once you have it, it's there for life, lurking in your nerve cells, ready to strike when you least expect it. And while there are treatments available to help manage the symptoms, there's currently no cure for herpes. The best defense is prevention, so it's crucial to understand how the virus spreads and how to protect yourself. Not everyone with herpes experiences symptoms. This statement highlights the dichotomy between asymptomatic and symptomatic infections. Asymptomatic infection refers to a scenario where an individual carries the herpes virus but does not display any outward signs or symptoms. In other words, they carry and can spread the virus without even knowing it. On the other hand, symptomatic infection is when an individual carries and displays clear signs of the virus, such as sores or blisters. These individuals are aware of their infection and, as a result, may take precautions to prevent its spread. However, both asymptomatic and symptomatic individuals can spread the herpes virus, often leading to a chain reaction of transmission. The asymptomatic nature of some infections can make herpes particularly tricky to manage and control. It's akin to an invisible enemy, silently spreading without detection. This silent transmission is a significant factor in herpes prevalence. While there is no cure for herpes, there are ways to manage the symptoms. That's an essential fact to remember. Living with herpes doesn't mean living with constant discomfort. Through a combination of medical treatments and lifestyle changes, people with herpes can reduce their symptoms and the frequency of outbreaks. Let's start with antiviral medications. These are the primary treatment option for managing herpes. Drugs like acyclovir, valacyclovir, and famciclovir don't eliminate the virus from your body. Instead, they work to suppress the virus's ability to reproduce. This reduces the severity and duration of outbreaks when they occur. For those with frequent outbreaks, these medications can also be taken daily as suppressive therapy, helping to reduce the number of outbreaks over time. However, it's not just about medication. Lifestyle changes can also play a significant role in managing herpes. Stress, for instance, is a common trigger for outbreaks. Therefore, stress management techniques such as meditation, yoga, or just ensuring you have enough downtime can help reduce the frequency of outbreaks. Regular exercise and a healthy diet can also strengthen your immune system, making you less susceptible to outbreaks. Moreover, maintaining a healthy sex life is also possible with herpes. Using condoms can significantly reduce the risk of transmission to partners, especially when combined with antiviral therapy. It's also important to avoid sexual activity during active outbreaks to prevent spreading the virus. Finally, let's not forget about the importance of emotional well-being. A herpes diagnosis can be emotionally challenging. It's essential to remember that it's a common condition, and having it does not define you. Seek support from trusted friends, family, or support groups, and don't hesitate to seek professional help if needed. Remember, herpes is a manageable condition. With the right treatment and lifestyle changes, you can reduce outbreaks and continue to live a healthy, fulfilling life. With proper treatment and lifestyle changes, people with herpes can lead normal, healthy lives. Herpes may be a gift that keeps on giving, but it's not a life sentence. This video has taken us on a journey, shedding light on the causes, spread, and treatment of herpes. We started by understanding what causes herpes. It's a virus, specifically the herpes simplex virus, which comes in two forms: HSV1, typically causing oral herpes, and HSV2, causing genital herpes. From there, we delved into how herpes spreads. It's primarily transmitted through direct contact with sores, but can also be spread during periods of asymptomatic shedding. We also learned that genital herpes can be transferred to the mouth, and vice versa. Next, we explored what the virus does inside your body. We learned about the initial or primary infection, followed by the latent and reactivation infections, commonly known as herpes outbreaks. We also discussed the prodromal symptoms that can help predict these outbreaks. We then moved on to the critical distinction between asymptomatic and symptomatic infection. Yes, you can have herpes and not know it, which is why regular testing is so important. Finally, we turned our attention to treatment options. While there's no cure for herpes, antiviral medications can help manage outbreaks and reduce the risk of transmission to others. In conclusion, knowledge is power. Understanding herpes can help reduce its stigma and improve the lives of those who live with it every day.
If you are enjoying our content, please give us a like and subscribe.